Market rheme. With regard to the making of information bearing structure, early days theory of smartness will be followed in the study. It states that the subject is the element that is chosen and team unless there is a good reason for choosing something else. Assume that is something other than the subject in a declarative clause we shall refer to as marked team. If now we return to Chinese statement markedness, the keyword unit angle kinds of markedness is informativeness and we'll link it up to Greensburg diagnosis of markedness, while markedness lacks a precise definition. Frequency serves as the most useful diagnostic. We can assume that the marked form being less frequent has great informativity and supported this. The Oxford Dictionary of English Grammar states that the notion of information content is related to statistical probability. If a unit is totally predictable, then, according to information theory, is informationally redundant and its information content is nil. This is actually true of the particle in most contexts. What are you going to do? This means that the CD, communicative dynamism of a sentence changes according to whether or not it's marked. In fact, the use of a marked TM has an interest effect on the communicative dynamism. It must be remembered the normal lemmatic structure is in a marked TM plus rheme, where the CD communicative dynamism increases from low to high in accordance with a linear progression of information from what is a news predictable theme to what is news unpredictable. Rheme. The marked thematic structure considers with a marked word order where the grammar subject is followed by the predicate, a marked word order, and marked theme. Subject, the city of Naples, marked theme lower city level. 2. Predicate was across the bay, rheme I across the bay. In a sentence with marked theme, that is in a sentence where the initial position is not occupied by grammar subject, they say the communicative distance change radically, as can be seen in the example below, which now display marked word order AVS. Marked word order marked theme CD level. Adverbial across the bay marked theme I. Low verb was. Subject the city of Naples, rheme high. On the sentence with a marked theme, the CAD communicative dynamism moves from I to low and back to I. The sentence is thus doubly marked in its grammatical structure and information bearing structure. Since the marked sentences are more predictable than marked ones, the informativity level is lower than a marked sentence. For example, in Across the Bay was the city of Naples. Since the sentence is globally marked, the will as a unit stand out in contrast to the other marked sentences around it. It's also true that the receiver of the message will hear either physically in the sentence is spoken or in his mind is written the physically the sentence is spoken or in his mind is written the different prosody that will identify the high point of the message itself in the sentence. Indeed, in the written language, the writer must make sure that the reader will be able to identify the high point of this message. To do this, he she gives an internal or imaginary prosodic prominence. Taking into example, reading under examination, we can see the difference in prosody, intonation, stress, and marketing and bold. A marked prosody. The city of Naples was across the bay. Marked prosody, across the bay was the city of Naples. The prosody in the first marked sentence gives focus to the final part of the sentence in a marked way and focus on the theme, on the rheme, while in the second marked sentence, two elements are highlighted, one the marked theme and the other the rheme. Quick points out that the theme carries reader prosodic well when it's an item that is not normally in an initial position in a clause. In the example here illustrated, it is clear that the writer is able to draw attention firstly to the sentence as a whole. in that it's globally marked in comparison to other market sentences around it and therefore as a higher informative level. And secondly, to two important elements within the sentence itself. Across the bay in the city of Naples, she has achieved this by organizing their message in a special, unusual way. It has marking in a theme by changing the word order. Elides points out that the choices close themes plays a fundamental part in the way discourse is organized and that the speaker can exploit the potential that the situation defines using the thematic information structure to produce an astonishing variety of rhetorical effects. He can play with the system, so to speak. And this light is interesting to examine how the market word or the market theme sentence in the king, in order to see the importance they have in the core text and all examine the effect of their organization on the way the communication the reader is made. In an example where the obligatory verb is being fronted, this verb becomes the market theme the subject verb inversion means. The subject element of the sentence becomes the rheme. This is a complete reversal of a market sentence, where the subject will be the theme. The subject verb inversion fact allows us already been seen on page 46-47. Subject to be highlighted rather than the verb, which as low say the communicative dynamism. In the king, the passage were obligatory AVS, marked with ordering and repeated several times. The verb is in the market in the sentence grammar subject is the rheme. The grammatical subject new information rheme, which is placed in the end position as you IST in such position. Communicative dynamism. Market team on top of the bed, the rheme was a cow. On market team on top of the cow was a vacuum cleaner. On top of the vacuum cleaner was a bicycle. On top of the vibers was a box of apples. Market team rheme. The city of market sentence goes from high to low to high again. City level on top of the bed, I was low, a cow, I, and so the other sentences. Moreover, the prosody of the market sentence gives stress both the place, the bed, the co, as well as the entity, a co, a vacuum cleaner. The market version of the sentence can be compared from the prosodic point of view. Intonation stress marked in bold. A market prosody, a cow was on top of the bed. A vacuum cleaner was on top of the cow. Market proposy on top of the bed was a cow. On top of the cow was a vacuum cleaner. With regard to the informative level, the use to define and define article is also be noted. The ending on the market theme obligatory verb is preceded by a definite article on the top of. This is consistent with the content of now given information. The ending of rheme is preceded by an indefinite article, indicating that it is the first time that the entity is being presented to the reader. It's news. The author's organization of the information being structure allows the child to be oriented firstly with regard to space setting the scene and then with regard to the new entity being introduced. This particular passage, moreover, shows an extremely current progression and organization of theme and rheme. It's common for the rheme in one sentence to become the theme next. This is because the rheme's information logical becomes the theme of the following clause, which will then proceed to tell the reader something new about the entity known to the reader. There is a strictly cohesive theme rheme development. The marked sentence above, as it can be seen in the diagram below, which shows how the rheme in one sentence becomes the theme of the following to rheme progression, the bed, a co. Theme 2, the co, a vacuum cleaner rheme. Theme 3, rheme free, the vacuum cleaner, a bicycle, etc. Such progression theme rheme is a formal cohesion and makes it easier for a child to process the information. Is a part and often found in children's stories. Other types of market themes are to be found in the king. For example, in the sentence with market, EOSV, PO, word order, To the rich she gave advice, and to the poor she gave money. Both of the indirect object marked him to the rich, the poor, and direct object rheme advice money have high communicative dynamism as the first indirect object, as I say the is unusual position as marked TM. The second because it has been given and focused. Again, the prosodic prominence is from I for low to I again, intonation, stress marking, and bold. Communicative level to the rich Ike, she gave low advice Ike, and to the poor Ike, she gave low money Ike. And the sentence never in all the history cabaret there been such a wind. The market team is made up of the various never in all of the history of Capri, attracting prosodic stress, and the focus lies on the rheme such a wind, which is the new information. Again, the market original form can be compared with regular to prosodic stress to an unmarked version to the same sentence. A market prosody, although there never been such a wind in all the history of Capri Ike. Market prosody, never in all the history of Capri Ike had there been low such a wind Ike. In conclusion, word order is used. The linguistic analyst points out to signal the arrangement information within the clause of the sentence. Marking or not marking word order is choice writers at its disposal. The effect of this marking on the information bearing structure of the king has been described. Word order is a tool that Winterstone has used in the king to make sure the message she intends to communicate is understood clearly and efficiently by the reader listener. Also, in a short paper of Tim rheme. Talks of rheme type cinematic progression describe this particular Tim rheme progression, such as found in the passage from the king, as a simple linear thematic progression calling the basic type.